Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Maria Banga here, founder of the association Hope for the Abused and the Battered. You would have to bear with me today. It's a very sad, moment for me, and I don't have any intention to put on any show where I look good or I look happy. I don't know if I'm going to take off my sunshades, my cap, anything, but everything is so bleak for me right now. And last night I barely slept. Very troubling circumstances. Situations have happened in the last week, the last few days. It's not just about rape like happening all over the place. It's like happened very close to me. I mean, very, very, very close to me. And I almost thought like you have to stop what you're doing for people. Focus now on yourself and your family. Do other things, one of those moments like dark night of the soul and stuff like that. But I did a lot of prayers, and I think I was being prepared in the past few days for what happened yesterday. And so it occurred to me this morning that I can't give up. I am the voice of the voiceless, or I am one of the voices of the voiceless, and whether anybody is coming along with me or not, I have to keep doing what I'm doing. If I can bring hope only to one person, then I have done something. And so I want to do this live video this afternoon in my personal capacity and in my capacity as the founder of the association Hope for the Abused and the Battered. One of our focus areas is being the hope for children victims of abuse, all forms of abuse, but especially sexual abuse, because sexual abuse and rape are like the most despicable thing you can do to a child. Like you're ruining that child's future from that moment, and it's like at some point the child doesn't even know how to live their childhood anymore. I have seen it. Instead of progressing, they're regressing. Things that should make them happy don't make them happy. Things that should not make them happy make them happy. Sometimes people say only hurt people hurt others. And I've seen that, because they take pleasure in scratching, biting, kicking, fighting with each other, instead of there's a lot of work to be done. So the topic of this show is hope in spite of the grueling realities of rape. I'm going to be having a special guest whenever she can join me. Whenever she can join me, I am going to invite her. So I want to especially invite her now. I don't know if she can come. I don't know where she is. She has been wanting to do a show with me for quite a while now. So I'm really hoping that she can join me shortly and kind of really participate. But I don't mind going all the way all alone, because I am what people could call wounded. I am like, why would somebody do this kind of thing to a child? So I am looking just at the rape of children, but even adults are raped. Children, I'm focusing on girls because that is what I have. But even boys are raped. Anybody chooses what they are focusing on, and I have chosen to focus on girls. Maybe also because I'm a woman and I had a difficult childhood and sexually abused too as a child, even if it was by a cousin, a female, but that is it. So when I think about those kind of things, I think I was like 9 or 10. So you can imagine that this age is a very sensitive age for me. And raped later on as an adult by my husband. That is the kind of rape people don't talk about. It's like, that should not be rape, right? But I don't care. I have to talk about it, because when we don't talk about things, those things stay on, and it's like whatever. So I am hoping that my guest joins me if the network is good wherever she is, and so that she can progressively, each line of what I'm looking at, she could share with us what she thinks about that in whatever capacity, because she's a nurse, a midwife, counselor, writer, motivational speaker, and she's a community youth developer and a health promoter. So there's a lot of angles from which you could look at anything I am looking at today, right? And any other person who comes in and who wants to join to share something can also come. But I mean, I'm good to go all the way, doing this thing all by myself, and whether anybody joins me live or not, it's okay. I know people sometimes view later. A lot of people do that. This is a Sunday afternoon. People are probably busy, their families or in their activities or in their group meetings and stuff like that. And in some other countries, this is still like morning for them, time to get ready and go to church and all of that. So whenever anybody joins, if the person feels like participating, sharing, you could drop a comment, or you could kind of like show me that you want to join and say something, and I would invite you. When it doesn't happen to you, it is like it can only happen to them. There are a lot of things that happen in our lives, in our world, and you cannot get carried away by or get involved in everything. But you could show some little concern, and that is something that people are still trying to learn how to do. Show this little concern, because you don't do it when something happens to you, nobody will also show that little concern. And we want people to show, because we are all one. Like we learned today in church, there's a synergy. And when there's a synergy, the result is much better than when you work with your energy, you alone. So that is why we do things and we share them online and we talk about them all over the place, and we do that. We write books, we attend conferences, we talk, because we want to try to propagate far and wide. What's the whole point? If I'm doing something and nobody knows I'm doing that thing, then let me better stop even doing it, right? Let me just be doing it for myself quietly and stuff. But no, the whole point of doing this thing and doing it live and like writing all over the place, doing all what I'm doing and letting people know minute by minute, day by day what I'm doing, is because I want to be doing it not only for myself and for whoever I'm doing it for, but for society as a whole. Because when one person is affected in our society, trust me, the whole society is affected. Look, when Fortune was raped and then she was hospitalized and then she died, I felt it like I even knew her. I didn't know her. I didn't even see her. I don't even know her family. I don't know her village, nothing. But I was just like, Fortune could be my daughter. And I was like, oh, you're walking around like that, you don't know. It's like robbery, right? You can be robbed at any time. So even if it's somebody else who has been robbed and you don't care, the next day it could be your own bag that is snatched. Who is going to care at that time? Wow, rape now is another one altogether. People don't want to talk about rape because it is something that brings shame. It is something that makes people so embarrassed. It is something that makes you so vulnerable, so filthy, so dirty, so less than a whore. So, a prostitute is what she does. So for her, it could be like, well, that's how she ends her life. So how are you even going to feel sorry for her? You may feel sorry only when she's taking advantage of, maybe she's not paid her money, or when she's actually like forced to. After she says she doesn't want, then the man keeps, then you can feel sorry. But imagine a child, an 8-year-old child, a 9-year-old child, a 10-year-old child. What has that child done to make anybody think that that child wants to even know what sexuality is all about, or that child wants to even know what it means for a man's dick to go into your vagina? It is time for me to start using those kind of vulgar words, and I give a big damn, and we at this association will give a big damn. We are like wounded, like start saying it loud and loud and loud. Like, I mean, what is wrong with men? Men 17-year-old, 25-year-old, 33-year-old, 40-year-old, and I mean men including fathers of some children. What is wrong with them? They cannot keep their penises to their own bodies. They cannot be satisfied with their wives. They have to go after their children. They have to go after their nieces. They have to go after their what? Children that's supposed to be taken care of. Now, there is something. Before I get to that, I just want to read to you what the Penal Code, Cameroon Penal Code talks about rape, says about rape. And then I'm going to get to what I wanted to say in the first place. But let's go. Section 296 of the Penal Code. Whoever by force or moral ascendancy compels any person, whether above or below the age of puberty, to have sexual intercourse with him. You know, it's specific here. It's a him they're using. Because at that time, they were not even thinking about a woman raping a boy. I don't even know if that should be called rape, you know, something else. But then, talking about sexual intercourse with him, shall be punished with imprisonment from 5 to 10 years. One day I was invited on a TV program and I was like, I don't know what to say about that provision of the law, but personally I find it so ridiculous. I find it so wanting. I find it so embarrassing. I find it so short-sighted. I find it so unbearable. I'm like, instead of going to report a case so that the rapist ends up getting 5 to 10 years, maybe I just take the law into my hands. Maybe jungle justice is the best thing. You know, let's just beat the hell out of this fellow. Let's just castrate him. Let's just kill him. And I just hold myself because, well, I'm born again. I'm a Christian. Is that what the Bible tells me to do? No. God help me. Now, you have aggravating circumstances which could lead to this man having a life sentence or stuff like that. You know, there's also private indecency. At least there's yeah, Blessing is trying to join. I hope that she can do that eventually. Because sometimes the network is funny and so you people cannot join easily. So if she cannot join because of network, as long as it allows me to talk, then I will continue talking. So I was saying that the law is so embarrassing that I don't know if we should even continue trying to see if there are other provisions on rape. But I was also saying that since you have the possibility of combining those charges, you can file a complaint for rape for private indecency. You know, private indecency is what we will call sexual abuse, because rape, there has to be that penetration, there has to be this sexual intercourse. But private indecency is when you're fooling around with the parts of the child and stuff like that. So what does section 298 say? That is for aggravation. It says that the penalties prescribed by section 294, 295, and 296 shall be doubled where the offender has authority over the victim, like when the victim was living with you, or you have custody. That's the same thing. You can have authority from afar, or the person is living with you, that is custody. And maybe you have also custody by law or by custom. or where you are a public servant or a minister of religion, or where you are helped by one or more others. That is gang rape. So all of those conditions qualify for aggravation. And then private indecency, that is section 295. What does it say? Whatever is private indecency. That is when somebody on his own is doing this public masturbation. Whoever in any place, notwithstanding that it may not be open to the public, commits an indecent act in the presence of any person of either sex and without his consent shall be punished with imprisonment for from 15 days to 2 years, or with fine of from 10,000 to 100,000, or with both such imprisonment and fine. And the punishment is also subject to aggravation. And then you have indecency, section 346. That is the one I was saying could qualify for sexual abuse. What does that section say? Indecency to child under 16. Whoever commits an indecent act in the presence of a child under the age of 16 shall be punished with imprisonment for from 2 to 5 years and with fine of from 20,000 to 200,000. And the punishment will be doubled if qualifies under those aggravating circumstances. Whatever be the case, I find all of those laws so wanting. And so I don't want to focus on the law, although I'm a lawyer. That one is when it has already happened and then maybe you have laid hands on this person. It takes like forever in Cameroon because there's no specific law and degree of application in Cameroon with regards to rape. You know, in some countries you have specific laws. For example, there has been a family code going on for years and years in this country, drafted and tossed left and right. We are hoping that in that family code there will be specific and rigorous and precise provisions with regards to rape and its enforcement. You know, like you have a special squad in a police station for cases of rape. Not that you go and you want to talk about your rape and everybody is looking at you and you're talking and they keep asking you questions and then they receive a phone call and then they put your file by the side. They say, come back tomorrow. Come on, those are sensitive things. And people need to be trained in a very special way how to handle this kind of cases, how to go about investigating them. Don't come and say, lie down and show me how the rape occurred. Come on, that is not possible. You know, and even the doctor you go to, it needs to be a doctor, maybe sometimes a female gynecologist when it's a child, because they will know how to talk to this child. They will know how to kind of, what can I call it, examine this child, how to touch this child with their gloves, not to make this child feel like you're violating them all over again. So, well, that is the first grueling reality of rape that I looked at. There is no specific law on rape. There is no specific law on rape. So it makes it very difficult to kind of speedily prosecute rape cases whenever anybody even has the courage to report them. You know, it takes a lot of courage, right? How are you going to go and be telling people that I was raped? Hey, even if it's a police officer, he's going to first start looking at you like that. Maybe start asking you stupid questions like, how were you dressed? What did you do to provoke this man? Why were you alone with this man in the lift? Blah, 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 blah. You know, stuff like that. So, if there was a specific law, maybe that law is even going to tell us like, only people of so-and-so age, you know, people who can show some compassion should be in this special force, you know, like rape unit. I went to Rwanda, Kigali. They have a special branch for cases of rape and domestic violence. So you go there directly. You don't go to where everybody comes and files all kinds of complaints. And maybe you come back after 1 week, your complaint cannot be found or it has not been processed. Sometimes you even have to bribe. You know, you've been raped, but you have to bribe for your complaint to be quickly, you know, stuff like that. I have a case right now. A child was raped in August 2018. That case has not even started. We were in front of the examining magistrate on Thursday. That was the first confrontation. And the law prescribes sometimes for up to 3 confrontations. What grueling thing is that? How can you traumatize a victim to that extent? Because this child in particular, the mom doesn't even have money. So she was hoping that she will report this guy is going to be brought to book and will be fined some amount of money. And that is the money she will use to take her child to the hospital. I went to where they live. So I call this child Courage. I saw the mother actually saw her. The mother actually saw her bed to be able to take her child, even just for the mother sold her bed to take this child to the hospital for an initial consultation. She sold her bed for 25,000. I went to that house. So I am taking this child back again to the hospital. I took her there already yesterday. They prescribed a series of tests and abdominal echography and scan and whatsoever. That child is 9. She was raped when she was 8. Yesterday during the examination, I saw the way this child was crying. My heart was ripped. So when would that case ever even start? When would they finish? Because even the judges, they don't have only those rape cases to deal with. So it's not like your own is priority. We have so many rape cases, so many all kinds of cases. But if there was a special unit, starting right from the police custody to investigative unit to whatever you call awaiting trial to even a special prison for these people where they'll go and meet themselves and maybe even rape themselves there or something like that. It is something that can get you wounded to the core. You may decide to just keep your Christianity aside and just say, fire, come down, burn everybody up. Anyway, so that is the first grueling reality. The second one, even before I go to the psychological damage, but the second one I feel is so strong, is stigma. Stigma from within, that is you stigmatizing yourself, feeling so terrible, like you are now less than nothing because you have been raped, whereas you did not call for that rape. But what has a child done to be raped? Nothing. But that child already feels like, I mean, these are my children. I have 2 in my house right now who have been raped. They could not even look at me in the eye. They have eaten all their nails. They have picked all their clothes. Their hairs were like, stuff like neglecting their bodies. They have to feel like they have to bathe like 3 times a day to clean up what they just feel already terrible about themselves. Society will now, okay, you want to write about them. Oh, you have to cover their face because if people see, people may start to say, they see you on the road, they'll say, that one, look at that one was raped. And so what if I was raped? But then they're minors, so yes, I have to protect them. They have to take that decision themselves to talk about their rape openly. But I have one who is 23. She's just waiting to get better and then she's going to do it. So, yep, I'm waiting. Like I talk about my own myself, I talk about it. Who is going to tell me that you were raped and so what? Anyway, the third grueling reality about rape is a psychological damage. That stigma is part of psychological damage, but now that stigma, when it comes from outside, from society, it is not psychologically damaging if you decide not to let it psychologically damage you. But the defilement itself psychologically damages you, especially when you're a child. And this psychological damage is not one that can be seen or stitched. So worse than a broken hymen, the mind muggle of unworthiness, confirmed by your helplessness when you were raped, you were abused, you were violated, because some of them is not once, multiple times. So you just feel ripped to your core. And sometimes it is by someone you call Papa. You were looking up to this person as a guardian or an authority. So you can imagine how useless you feel. You feel like everybody just knows that you are cheap. You are a prostitute. Even when you are 9 or 10 or. The third grueling reality I mentioned was emotional damage. This is the fourth one, sorry, because you have the legal reality, sad reality. You have the social sad reality of stigma. You have the psychological damage. Then now you have the emotional damage. Because psychologically, you could be fine, living in your corner, you alone, not having to confront anybody, trying to fit into any more society. You just go and stay in some village or wherever. But emotional damage will come in, especially when you cannot have relationships or normal ones. Some people are raped and then they say, I don't want to catch a man ever again in my life. So they start having relationships with other women. we call this not normal, but it's the person's choice. So me, I'm not here to judge anybody. Or a boy who was raped, these young children we hear were raped in church by those who were supposed to be teaching them how to be mass servants or whatever, altar guys or drummers or choir guys, and anybody, God, oh. So, then they decide that, no, I don't want to catch me any man again. I'm going to be as promiscuous as ever with girls, women, or I will just stay me only with boys. Because after all, the boy will already know that it is normal to have anal sex. So that is what appeals to me now. That's what I'm doing. Or because of the embarrassment of that rape, you don't even know how to have a real relationship anymore. So you don't know how to manage your emotions. The least thing gets you off, sparked off. So, well, you have these highly fluctuating emotions. You're happy until nobody can contain your happiness. You kind of even embarrass somebody with your happiness. You're too happy, you're dancing all over the place when people are just nodding their heads. Or you are too sad for the least thing. A cat dies, you start to cry. Your emotions are just fluctuating. Your moods imbalanced. 1 minute you're happy, another minute you're sad, another minute you're angry, another minute you are like whatever. It's so imbalanced. You cannot even predict how you react if they just call you to tell you that somebody has died. Even if your grandma was 100 years old, you're like, you cry for 3 days. All of those kind of things. And you have very unhealthy attachment patterns. You don't want anybody to go. You cannot stay alone. You want to be in the midst of people. You want to be talking non-stop. All of those kind of things. I don't know. It is network. I am not going to force myself to try to get anybody to join me anymore. I think that the network simply is not letting people join. So I've invited people, they cannot join. So I'm stopping at that. I just go along and do my one-man show. Okay, well, with emotional damage comes this poor communication of needs. Do you even know your needs in the first place? Do you understand yourself fully? Do you know what real love is? Because when you've been raped, it's like you've been taken advantage of. At some point, it becomes like maybe that particular person is even doing you a favor because nobody else is having your time. So if this person is the only one who comes to you, like this Georgie girl who was abused from the age of 8 to the age of 11, sexually abused, like put on the laps and the fingers sent into her private and her breast fondled and stuff. This guy who is the husband to her elder sister, calls it seance de sport, that is sessions of sports. So flock, putting her left and right so that she can sit on his penis and cuddle it. For him, that was sports, this kind of perverse kind of cravings and stuff like that. Yeah. After that, when she got to 11, he started really like fully penetrating her. At some point, it's like that's the only person who can actually have sex with you. So for you, that is love, because he probably starts to now give you gifts. And yeah, well, you crave those gifts. Who else has your time anyway? So for you, he becomes even kind of a god, semi-god or whatsoever. I mean, it's so sickening. I don't even want to remove my shades anymore or my cap. It's so sickening. I'm not happy at all. It's so sad what happens. Lord help us. Okay, so you see, you don't even know what real love is. What is true love. By the time you start to have a relationship, you don't even know how to cope. The least disagreement with your partner is like, hey, I'm finished. So if this guy leaves me now, what do I do? So you start bombarding him with SMSs, try to accuse him of all kinds of things, start to take this matter out of proportion. Whereas all what you want is that he should just know that you need help. You need to be loved. You need to understand how to love. But this guy doesn't know. Has he been raped? No, so he doesn't know. The next damage is physical damage. You see, I put physical right down the number 5. Because seriously, I mean, a hymen goes now. Even when you have sex for the first time, hymen breaks. So that hymen that is broken is not the issue. The force itself, you can heal from that force. It is inside here. That is the real thing. So that physical damage leads to a lot of excessive criticism. You start to hate yourself. Like Soji was telling me the other day, she hates herself. But the other day, last Friday, she wrote love and we clapped and she has improved. I'm so grateful. Even with my two small daughters, I've just noticed a small improvement even in the way they sleep. And I'm like, well, God, thank you so much. But this self-loathing can lead to eating disorders and dysmorphobia. Like when you feel there's nothing good about you. If anybody compliments you, that is where you start looking for the least pimple, the least fats, the least anything and stuff like that. Dysmorphobia is a mental illness involving obsessive is like non-stop focus on a perceived flaw in appearance. So you stand in front of the mirror for like 3 hours before you go for a simple invitation for coffee. You dress up and dress up and dress up. You make up until your foundation starts to beg you to leave it alone. You wear the earrings, you buy new ones all the time, gold, silver, 10 rings on your fingers, everything. Because you don't see yourself as good enough anymore. You are like, no, there's this thing, this hair on my chin, oh my God. This, my eye, my face, people see that always like that. It just, because you think that if somebody rapes you, it's because you are not even good enough. So there's something wrong with your body. If you could rip that body out and replace it, you would have done it. But you cannot. Like I remember washing myself over and over and over again. Washing and staying there in the toilet, sitting there, crying, going to warm water. Vapor, it puts it there, hoping that that vapor can get inside there and just remove that rape from your body. So what do we talk about the risks of pregnancy, right? I read about a child who was raped by the father repeatedly until they got pregnant. They had aborted twice. So the third time they said they were not aborting. They were done because you can abort and you can die during the abortion. People have died. So, not to talk of disease. I know another case, she contacted HIV. I mean, she was, so why is humanity so wicked? Number 6, grueling reality about rape, the spiritual damage. Spiritual damage is when either you go on spiritual completely, you don't believe in God anymore. Which God? God allows me to be raped. Me, an innocent child, don't even take me to church. Or you go to that church just to go and be looking at people and laughing. But no. There's nothing good that can come out of that place. So you have a shallow relationship with God. Or you don't even have. By the time you grow up and you can decide whether you go to church or not, you just stop. Because for a child, maybe she has no choice. The parent just takes her to church. Or maybe this child now starts going to church and does not want to go back home again. That church becomes her 24/7. She's in all the groups in church. In short, only church. When are we going to church? Monday, she's gone for Bible studies. Tuesday, she's gone for special prayer. Wednesday, she's gone for choir practice. Thursday, she's gone for whatsoever. Friday, she's gone for prayer night. What can be done? Prevention, they say, is better. Prevention, they say, is better than cure. I don't know if rape can be fully prevented, given the current grueling statistics in Cameroon. I mean, just Google and read. I cannot find the links to some recent reports. But with the crisis right now, it is like rape has become a weapon of war in Cameroon. So people are being raped left and right. They're not even putting the pictures on Facebook anymore, the videos and stuff. I think people are tired. Seriously. So I may just be talking too but I think what even makes my own a little passionate is that it involves children, 8-year, 9-year-old. So it's like, what the hell is going on? But can you really prevent rape? Somebody said, let's try to start sensitizing men, do these campaigns and stuff. Anyway, I don't want to get involved in prevention campaigns because I seriously don't think that they work. Or if they work, let some other people pick that up. I want to be in the cure section because a lot of people have already been raped and nobody is thinking about their psychological damage. Or people are thinking, I know we can just pray or 1 or 2 counseling sessions can do. Counseling, you are just talking to the person. But therapy, you talk and the person talks back. And so you can work it out. But it's still new in Cameroon. So people are like, does that thing work? So But, well, it makes part of it. It does. How do you cure? Even in hospital, when you go, doctor gives you medication. Does he not tell you to kind of drink a lot of water, sleep properly, do some exercise, eat healthy? Like Courage, she was put on a diet. No flour, fruits and vegetables 3 times a day, stuff like that. Look at, because she's super constipated. Even the fear of just going to the toilet, because you are scared if you go to the toilet, because they live where the toilet is outside. So she's like, if I go there, I may catch me, and that's it again. So it just becomes internalized now. Whether that guy is living around you anymore or not, you're just scared. The other day she was here and I just touched her. The way she jumped up from that bed, it's like, hey, I'm done. There are already many victims out there. Someone has to help them. And that is what my association is focusing on, bringing hope to the abused and the battered. That is it. I'm not to bring hope to people who have not yet been abused or bring hope to abusers. No. I know that abusers may need help. They may be sick. They may be suffering from some mental illness too. And they take out their perversion on innocent children. But that is not for me. They can all be locked up. That is going to actually reduce the abusers out there. I'm focusing on abuse and battered. So we have a center. Right now it's in my home. Trying to 1 or 2 people, for me, that is good. Just 1 person, bring hope to 1 person, that is good. 2 people, that is good. 3 people, that is good. When I have a big center and people can come in and we can have programs and all of that, Lord, thank you. But already for the 1 or 2 children, I'm able to help bring back hope. Lord, thank you. The third thing we can do is stop the stigma. Stop the stigma. Stigma for me is another rape. Because when you don't report rape cases, maybe because we want to preserve family honor, maybe because we want to no, don't talk. Let's try to handle this here. Try to handle. The person is getting rotten in their mind, in their body, but you don't report it. Maybe you don't even take them to the hospital. You take them to a district thing there by the house. They just do some small touche or touch, as you call it. Then they put 1 or 2 suppository. They give them some small antibiotics. Close. Yeah, because that is all stigma. And then when you go, you don't report, you don't say she has been raped. You say she's complaining of pains in her stomach. It is when the doctor checks and they say, no, but you have to see a gynecologist. He said, hey, doctor, what's happening? I have another case here. Just yesterday, the mother was saying, oh, no, I did not know that it could be serious. I thought she was lying. And because this child, she tells a lot of lies. And so, when I took her to the doctor in the neighborhood, that doctor there, I took her to doctor. He said that there was no penetration or that the penetration was not full. Can you imagine? Sometimes it's the victims who cannot talk because they're afraid of losing some marriage material left in them. Like when a 16-year-old girl, 18-year-old girl is raped. She's like, hey, by 22, I should be getting married. If I go and start saying that I've been raped, people will hear. And in Africa, they say, let's investigate in that family. So if they investigate in that family and the girls have been raped, don't marry from that family. Whether the particular girl you wanted to marry has been raped or not, that family is already Balok family. Look at, they have this promiscuous tendency. Because people just assume that if a 20-year-old girl is raped, she did something to get that rape. She was probably in the wrong place at the wrong time, or she was dressed in the wrong way. People could be dressed flimsy, that's true. But should that cause them to be raped? What about people who have not dressed flimsy and they have been raped? Why? Why must we look for something that somebody did to be raped? What did that 9-year-old, what did Courage do? What did Blessing do to be raped? So let's stop this stigma. Let's stop it. People have a past. Everybody has a past. So if my own past involves being raped, so we know a president who married a prostitute, don't we? What has happened? Is she not first lady? Even in the Bible, don't we have examples of prostitutes who are not only in the genealogy of Jesus, but who were like one of his best, what can I call, disciples or people walking around with him and stuff like that. When you hear the name Mary Magdalene today, oh, that is beautiful, my boy. Mommy is walking, okay? You lock the door. No, go. I'm doing live video. Captain, please stop. People should allow me to finish. You know, like when you hear the name Mary Magdalene, do you think of the prostitute or you think of this woman? Don't come again, darlings. People should not come. I'm doing live video. Nobody needs to see your faces. Those are my girls. I sent them to go and play. I was hoping that they will come when I finish, but they're already back. Anyway, so fine, you know, society has to stop treating victims and survivors like some, I don't know, some filthy something hanging around there. I once watched a documentary that happened in Ethiopia. Young girls who had been raped, they now had some condition that made some water to be coming out of them all the time and stuff like that. And so they were in some hospital that had been built only for girls like them. And they were there. You know, even the nurses are all gloved up and all covered up, probably because they don't want to be infected by whatever. But you know, one of them was being like, I don't want contamination. You know, how should they feel? It's like, let me just commit suicide and die. That is why I say we have to stop treating victims and survivors like pity party queens. I know, you know, feel sorry. Let's just do something for them. Let's get them back. Try to rehabilitate and reinstitute their value, their self-worth. You know, even pray for them. Offer any kind of support. That pity party where sorry. Oh, God forbid, God punish. All of that will do what to reinstitute. Those are emotions. Let's let them out. Fine. But after that, what next? I'm not saying people should keep giving me money, but I'm just like, if everybody who left a comment was able to say, I have just 1,000 francs, next time I will not even write about a rape case. There will be money already to take care of one more person. Because I just wrote about courage. I now have blessing. Am I going to be writing about blessing? No, I'm not going to be writing about blessing. I'm tired. I just want to see like whatever little resource I have already, let me take care of blessing. I would one day get to a point where I will attract funding. I would do a good project proposal and have a grant. This is just my first year. We were registered in December. I'm still like all alone even. I don't mind it at all. I know I will get to that point. The fourth thing we can do is support those who are engaged in 1, 2, or 3 above in any way you can. You know, like for the legal fees, I am taking Courage's case for free. There's nothing to pay. It's a criminal matter. So the state is doing all the expenditure. If it's just to go to the victim's place, taxi money is not going to be more than me, more than my association. I'm a lawyer myself, so nobody needs to pay me any fees. I will go to court whenever. I will do all the research, do all the talking, pleadings, whatsoever. Fine. But if it's a case where you feel like I want to support legal fees or I'm a lawyer myself, I want to offer some service, fine. Another colleague offered, but they are in Bamenda, so it's unfortunate we cannot even meet to exchange notes. But we'll try to do that like virtually, you know, online. I will really appreciate that. Okay, support clothes. I'm telling you where they live. I'm not asking for money to go and buy the clothes. I'm asking for clothes. She's 10. I put her picture there already, cover her face. So just look at her. Some people have clothes for their kids until they don't know where to keep those clothes. Suitcases upon suitcases upon suitcases. Please sort them out. Private message me. Don't give me too many because I don't like too much. I don't also want to encourage a child to think that you should have much because something happens to you, people are feeling sorry for you. So people are dumping boxes upon you. No. Maybe 5 clothes, 6 clothes. Seriously, she has nothing. I went there. And so she came. I was able to buy a few from the market because she just came with what she was wearing on her with one extra dress. But now she wants to spend 10 days here. I'm not sending her back. So for those 10 days, let her be able to also wear a dress every other day or one for sleep, one for the day. Not that she wears the same thing from morning until she sleeps. I bought a towel, I bought a toothbrush, I bought some underwears. But you know, now I have blessing. If I could have some, I will not spend money now to go buy things from the market. I will instead use that money to take her to the hospital too. Because she didn't even go. She went to the hospital somewhere and somebody said so whatever. But no test, so no nothing. Yet she also feels bad. She still has pains. Who will not have pains? You're 9. Somebody 17 is penetrating, raping you. not once, not twice, not 3 times, how would you not have abdominal pains? And you tell your mom and she's like, shut up. She even beats you up. Of course, you go and tell your neighbor. The neighbor tells the mother, I'm going to report you to the police. That's when your mother takes you to the hospital. And then you don't know what happens at the hospital. Nobody talks about it anymore. The poor child tells me, just recently that boy came around again. Because the mother had to kick him out because he was living with them. He came around claiming to be looking for something. She quickly ran to the neighbor and hid there until night before she went back to their house. What kind of trauma is that? Sometimes, parents, whether you were looking for that child, or it was accidental, some people don't even have. You have your own, you're emotionally unavailable for them. You think that is buying things and stuffing them up with things, or putting them in the best schools and paying the best teachers and best after school activities, best glacier modern ice cream, everything. Sit with that child 30 minutes. No. If you at home, one person is on TV, one person is on video game, or you're with your friends, or that. I'm not saying that I'm 100%, I'm just trying my own best too. So the more it happens, the more I learn. I have to spend more and more time with them. Fortunately, I'm getting to a point where I'll spend more time at home, working even from home, because the clinic where I work, or where I'll start working, it's just like, that's why I'm taking the girls to. It's just like 10 minutes maximum from my home. So God, thank you so much for that. Meaning I can go there, come back home, go back there. My life ends around my home, my area. If I'm going out of my area, it is for real something. If not, I stay me here. Let them get to that age, move on, and then I can now start gallivanting, going all over the place. So that is support. Support must not only be financial, even moral support. Yesterday, there was this musician called Otang. She came, visited and everything, and it was so touching. So show some empathy. That was empathy. And my last bonus is, with kids, don't talk about blame. Don't ask them too many questions. Don't even ask questions. I don't ask. Just love them. That is it. So we focus on psychotherapeutic support. I'm a psychotherapist too. So the legal and the psychotherapy aspect I cover. And then, medical is very important. So I try to get some solidarity, some funds to cover that up. And I've done a GoFundMe to kind of have money to to kind of rent a bigger space, because in my home, of course, it's not the best place to be. But for now, that's what we are doing. So I put the links there and everything. And so I want to thank those who watch, anybody or those who are going to view later. If you can be moved, you want to donate. Thank you, everybody. Network did not permit anybody to join, but no problem. May God bless us all abundantly. Parents, please watch over your children. Try to believe in them. Try to check on them every now and then. Ask them some questions like, has anybody ever touched you anywhere you did not like it? Or has anybody ever talked to you in a way you did not like? And sexual education start even from the age of 5, seriously. Now, outside is terrible. Stop thinking that they will learn in school. It may be too late. Maria Banga, founder of the association Hope for the Abused and the Battered. Let's be the hope. It is possible. Don't give up. Thank you.